Hello, my name is Phil Herman. I'm Superintendent of Hudson City Schools, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Monday message. First of all, yesterday was Mother's Day, so happy belated Mother's Day to all Hudson moms. We so appreciate all that you do to care for our kids in Hudson and to care for our students. We know that we could not do what we do without you, so thanks, moms. Also, thank you to all of you who participated in Staff Appreciation Week last week. It was so fun to see your messages on social media with the hashtag #WeAreHudson and to receive and see our staff receiving so many of your messages of support. We really appreciate it. Thanks. Last week I mentioned that we were wrapping up our remote learning survey. It closed on Monday night, and that I would share some results with you this week. So let's take a look at some of those results. First of all, we had 931 responses, so that was a really great rate. Thank you for so many of you for taking the time to fill out that survey. One of the first things we asked about was the amount of work that we are providing in remote learning. And so let's look at this broken down by our grade level groups. In preschool through second grade, 71.9% said it was just right, the amount of work that our students are receiving. So 16.7% said not enough, and 10.3% said too much. In grades 3 through 5, there's still a range there, but 60%, 59.8% said just right, 21.6% said not enough, and 16.5% said too much. At the middle school, 58.1% said just right, and in this case, 31.5% said not enough in terms of the overall amount of work that's being provided to middle school students, and only 8.4% said too much at the middle school level. And then at the high school, 61.8% said just right, 19.8% felt as though it was not enough, and 15.3% said too much. Another thing we asked about was how helpful has the learning format of Google Classroom been for remote learning? So this was a continuum of 1 to 4, with 1 being not very helpful and 4 being extremely helpful. And so again, broken down by our grade level bands, preschool through 2, over 85% said 3 or 4 in terms of being helpful. In grades 3 through 5, 83% said 3 or 4. At middle school, 81% said 3 or 4. And at the high school, 78.5% said 3 or 4 in terms of how helpful has the learning format of Google Classroom been for remote learning. One of the things that we've been concerned about is, do our students know where to get help if there are social emotional challenges? And so we asked the question, do you know how to get assistance from the school if your child is experiencing social emotional challenges? And 87.1% of you said yes. 12.9% said no. So we would encourage you, if you need help, reach out to our school counselors, to our teachers, to our principals. Any of them can help you or help guide you to resources for social emotional challenges for your children during this period of time of remote learning. Of course, there's also help for your family. If you need help, reach out to our school social worker, Julie Schultz, 330-653-1443, and she can also help you. But many of you did know that you can reach out to your guidance counselor. Do you know that you or your child can connect with a school counselor? And 86.7% said yes, and 8.4% were unsure. Again, via email or voicemail are the best ways to reach out to our guidance counselors, and they can follow up with you regarding your questions. We also asked about if you're able to find the information you need on the district's remote learning website, and 90.6% said yes, you're able to find the information you need there. So we'll certainly continue to utilize that resource moving forward, the remote learning website. But at the same time, to the other almost 10% who said no, please provide us suggestions about how you feel as though we could put information there that would be more helpful to you. We want to continue to enhance that website in the event that we need it in the future. Also, do you know how to get assistance from your district? If you need help with food or other resources, 88% said yes, 12% said no. That is as simple as a call to Kim Saborik, our Business and Nutrition Services Supervisor, at 330-653-1208, and we can help you with any access to food or other needed resources. In the website, in the survey, we also had some open-ended questions. And as you can imagine, with over 900 responses, you gave us quite a bit there to read. And so we're continuing to analyze those results, but I'll give you some overarching themes that we've seen so far. In terms of worried about August, we asked, what are you worried about for students returning in August? And you told us that you're worried that we won't return and that remote learning will continue. And we're worried about that too. We want to be prepared for whatever next year brings, but certainly we recognize that remote learning is not what we want for our students educationally, and we want our students in our classrooms and back in our schools. You shared that your students would be behind, and I talked a little bit about that in last week's Monday message. You shared that you were worried about returning, about students, keeping students separated, or the logistics of social distancing in a school, about the potential for the virus to spread, or about disinfecting procedures, which are all, of course, natural worries about the possibility of students coming back to school. We asked what we're doing well, and you were extremely complimentary of our teachers' efforts and their connections with students. You also, communication. It was an overarching theme in terms of what we're doing well, and so we really appreciate that feedback, and we will continue to try to reach out to you and communicate about the many different components of remote learning and all of the various decisions that are being made. What do we need to do to improve? There were many individual perspectives in this section, and certainly we're continuing to analyze those, but some overarching themes were about consistency of expectations, that you'd like to see more consistency amongst our staff and amongst our teachers in terms of the delivery of education. And there is a broad range of what is being asked of students right now from our teachers, and you would like there to be more consistency there. You also told us that in terms of utilization of Zoom, many people felt as though it was helpful and it was easy to access, but that you would like to see it better utilized in terms of the instructional capabilities of Zoom. That in some cases we're simply using it to check in on students, and that there was nothing wrong with that, but that we could do a better job of utilizing the instructional capabilities in Zoom. So we are going to continue to analyze these survey results, and we'll utilize them to prepare and plan for the possibility of any type of remote learning next year. And we do not know what that's going to look like yet. And we certainly want to be back in school, but we also want to be prepared in the event that we need to have any period of remote learning next year, that we can learn from these experiences now, learn from your feedback, and be prepared to better deliver next year. There are 10 days of school left, and this past week at our Parent and Staff Safety Advisory Committee, the parents shared with me, and some of our staff shared with me, that our students are getting tired. They're getting tired and they're getting a little bit exhausted with the remote learning. And so we want to try and help support them in these last weeks and help them know that there's a finish line coming. We're going to continue to deliver academic instruction this week, and then in the last week of school, we'll be wrapping some things up. We won't be introducing new material in the last week of school, and we are going to try to feature some of the celebrations, and I know so many of our staff, like we would in any school year in the last week, will be taking a look back, a little bit of review, but also a lot of celebration about the experiences that we've had together over the course of the past year. And so we will be doing that in the last week of school. Personal item pickup continues this week. Thank you so much for following our structures and procedures that are in place. That is going very well. At the high school, it actually begins on May 20th. All the other grade levels are wrapping that up. I've shared with you previously that we're continuing to think of our seniors and honor our seniors as they wrap up their school career in Hudson. Last week, Jacob Moore, Hudson High School Choir Director, hosted a virtual concert from his house, and I want to leave you today with a piece conducted by Jacob Moore and put together, compiled by Jacob Moore, featuring our Hudson High School seniors participating in choir. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you have a safe and healthy week.
used to